Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. Who is out there? Happy to see you guys. I am happy to see you. We are mid-November. How did we get here? Oh my God. We are getting so close to the holidays. I don't even know how to put the brakes on. Do I want to put the brakes on? Or do I just want New Year's to get here? I'm not sure. I'm like, I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle right now. But I'm happy you guys are here. Hey, throw me some comments. Let me know where you're from. I see some of you guys that I know, of course. And hi, Renee, Jennifer, good to see you. Diego, good to see you. All right, Brenna, good to see you. I love seeing you guys jumping in. Hey, Sam. Okay. I mean, you guys, look, it's getting close to the holidays. Okay, we all know this. Tucson's in the house. I love it. Crystal Lake, Illinois. Okay, we're coming in from all over the place. I love it. Um, all the feels around this time of the year are creeping in. Is it just me, or is it happening? Is it happening? Hi, Derek. Hey, Derek. I'm seeing you this week. Um, are all the feels coming in, or is it my imagination? Okay. Now, some of the feels that are coming up, we're completely aware of. And I'm going to tell you that some of them are they're hiding. They're hiding in the background. And those are the ones that we're responding and reacting out of. Okay. Now, of course, I could just be talking about me, but I'm probably not. So, this is what I want to talk about today. Like, ultimately, I'm going to be talking about gratitude because in November, everyone's talking about gratitude, but I have to first talk about some crazy shite. And then I'm going to talk about how gratitude emerges from the crazy shite. Um, because I want to just bring to, I think, the surface that yes, all the feels are coming out, but how does that show up in our day-to-day life? And how can we move forward maybe with a little bit more grace and a little bit more ease? We know that our guests might be a little bit more on edge, right? And but also some people are walking around a little bit more gracious, a little bit kinder, maybe bigger tips, right? Some may be wound a little bit tighter, maybe a little bit shorter fuse, maybe honking a little bit more. Um, Brenna is saying, I know which one is creeping in on me, anxiety. Oh my God. I'm so glad you said that because I'm just going to be 100 because this morning, before I even got on here, I don't even want to tell you what was going on in this house because I might look all put together. But 10 minutes ago, I was sitting on this bench in my bathroom, like taking deep breaths because the animal house going on here between the animals, the four-leggeds and the two-leggeds, and the anxiety with like a sick dog, with a cat not going in the litter box, with a dog puking. And do you even know what that sounds like in the middle of like the night slash morning? You jump out of bed. No bags though. That's all that matters. Okay. Anywho, let's get back to the point. It's crazy, right? So some people might have a shorter fuse. They might be honking when they're driving a little more than they normally would, right? So the question is how are we handling the stress? Because things are busier, work is busier, and we all probably have anxiety creeping up. And the busier we are, we shove it down and it comes out anyways. So how is it coming out? Is it coming out on our partners, our significant others, our spouses, our work wives, husbands and wives, our clients, right? So I don't know. I'm just bringing this up because it's up, right? I mean, I'm walking around like, shoot. I need to take an inventory on not the things that I'm feeling day in and day out, like that I know I'm feeling. If I'm feeling sad, I could say, like, I'm feeling sad about something, but it's all of the stuff that I'm not acknowledging that's like, that's hanging around in the background. And those are the things that I know for a fact that it's the things I'm not acknowledging that is creating my response mechanism. And I spoke a few weeks ago about, if you didn't watch my live a few weeks ago, it's, I think, worth a listen because I talk about our coping rope, and that when anxiety starts creeping up, that our rope gets shorter. And I think that as the holidays start coming in our industry, because people want more from us, they they have more emotional baggage around this time of the year, and they are seeking more from us, and we're busier and we are putting more on our shoulders. Our rope gets smaller, and so there's things that we need to do to take care of ourselves so that we can give more, because that's saying we can only give what we have. And so if we don't have anything to give, then we snap, and that's just not a good look, right? So it's like, what are some things that we need to do to be able to move through the rest of this year with a little bit of grace? Um, so I wanted to share the story of something that happened this couple weeks ago, and I just think that it's just, so apropos to where I'm at and probably where a lot of people are at. So we put together this event at the salon called a Sip and Shop, and those of you guys probably can, you know, figure out what that is. We invite clients in for a shopping event. We have food and we have wine, and we put on an event so our clients can shop and we can mingle with them and have a nice event where we're appreciating them. We have good deals and all that kind of stuff. Now, it's our first one in like so many years. So we used to have this event every year called Shop Till You Drop. And we had this event. It was year over year over year. This was like, I mean, I don't think we've had it for at least 10 years, if not longer. I'm even going to say maybe 13 or 14 years we haven't had one. But when we were having them, and we had them every year, they built upon each other. And when you do an event every single year, you learn from that event of how you continue to make it better and bigger. And then the clients that come, you start building a following to that event so that they become bigger, and it's kind of like a no-brainer. You have a system for it. So when you start over again, it's almost like you're just starting from the beginning and you're relearning how to build it, right? So this is like really like our first one again. And of course, because of my memory, which is, I don't have one, we're starting from scratch, right? So we are getting ready, as we do with anything that we do, and we want to make it perfect. So everybody is like pouring their heart and soul into it. We have our invites, our SVPs, we're getting the food ready, the tables ready, and the staff are working their asses off, right? They wanted to bring in models and have models of the latest fashion. Our salon we do hair. We're the lead stylist for San Diego Fashion Week, and Diego, who's on here, I hope he's still on here because I want to give him a shout out, is our lead stylist for San Diego Fashion Week. So he was doing all the hair. He got fashion for it. We had models walking around to put on a brilliant event. And so little did I remember until the event starts going that no matter how many RSVPs you get, really a small percentage of the RSVPs are the people that actually show up. So as the event is kind of going on, and we have some clients trickling in, but in one of our locations, we had a bigger attendance. And then at the one that I was at, we had a smaller attendance. And I was feeling like so bad because the attendance wasn't big. Like I was like, well, we had this many people RSVP. Where are all those people? And it started to dawn on me that you really only get a small percentage of the RSVPs that actually attend. And I started remembering from back when we used to do these events that, if we got 100 RSVPs, we might get 40 people that would come or 50 people that would come, right? So I'm like, oh God, now the memory is like kicking in, right? We needed to get like 150 RSVPs in order to make it, what we really wanted it. So I'm kind of like just feeling so disappointed and I'm beating myself up and I'm just like having anxiety anyway, because I'm just, why not? It's that time of the year that anxiety should just be on your checklist of things to have. And and I'm looking around and like my staff are having a good time and they worked so hard. And I'm just feeling like, oh, I wanted this to be so, in my mind, what successful meant is that it was big and full and busy and that everybody was appreciating what they did. And so I was sharing with my manager and I was like, God, I just am like feeling disappointed because I wish there were more people. And he's like, I know, but like, look around and like the staff are having a great time and they did such great work and they're having a good time with each other. And it's like, let it go. It is what it is. And it was like a moment that I had been so busy all day. I had literally, you know, threw myself into Costco that morning. For those of you that don't know Costco, it's like Sam's Club. It's like hell. It's like throwing yourself into hell. And it was gridlock that morning. And that alone will just, throw the levels through the roof. And I was just operating off of that whole busyness. And I just started looking around and I was like, why are you looking at what you don't have instead of what is in front of you, which is like your your team are like they're so supportive. They're having an amazing time. Look at the work that they've done. Look at the models that they did. Look at the clients that are there. And that perspective shift for me completely changed the trajectory of my evening. And I ended up having the most magical night. And I'm so grateful that I was able to share with him what was going on with me and that I was able to take in the shift because I was able to talk to some of my staff members that sometimes I'm so busy and the salon's busy that I wouldn't even have even been able to carve out the time to have those conversations. Even with one of our new gals that she is still going to beauty school and she works with us part time, and we had the loveliest conversation. She brought a friend that goes to beauty school, and they decided to do an interview with me about my career, this, that, and the other thing. Um, Honestly, to be able to talk to a client that shared with me how she ended up even coming to the salon back in January, the most touching, magical story that I never even knew about, how five of our staff welcomed her in because of her mom passing away. I never would have known these things. And I have to tell you that I'm never going to forget that night. And had I not been able to look at what was in front of me instead of what wasn't in front of me, um, I wouldn't have had that experience. So I'm just sharing that story because I think that sometimes it's so easy to go through our lives and our businesses and have an attachment to how we want things to look, how we want things to be. And I mean, this is like me. This is me in my life in general. This is just authentically, I have such high expectations of everything. And our disappointment in life, in business, in general, is directly related to our level of expectation. So if our expectation is through the roof, then usually we're walking around with our disappointment so far below our feet that it's jarring. And so if we can manage our expectation, and as I talk to you, I talk to myself. If we can manage our level of expectation, then it's easier to manage our level of disappointment. And that goes for our business, that goes for working with our staff, that goes for working with our families, our pets, who's right here, who woke me up 5 times in the night. Um, that was so helpful for me that I have like this conversation with this client, honestly, um, reminded me of why I opened my business 32 and a half years ago. It reminded me of that. It was just like, wow. Oh my God. I was in tears when she was telling me the story. She was there with her husband in tears. And it was because I was able to just let go of this image of how I thought the night should go. And is it fair to say that that night also was a learning experience for our next one next year to say, oh, yeah, now based on how that night went, let's make notes of what we need to do next year? Yeah, because then we need to build on that. And Jen said we had 30% of what we typically have. And thanks for putting that into perspective. Yeah, it's like, I, I'm so grateful too for like the staff were so supportive. They were just like, can we also take all this food home? I'm like, take what you want, take the food home, feed the children. It's like, yes. And they just were so okay with it. And, acceptance, right? And it reminds me of, I don't know if you have ever, and I know this has happened to you, where, you've had a team member who, and this has probably happened to you too, if you do hair, you do nails, whatever you do, with our clients. You've had a client that has called for a redo, or someone that calls and hates their hair. They've like given you a bad review, whatever haters that we have. And then you'll have an employee that's like in the fetal position in the back room. They're crying. They can't even function. And you're like, wait a minute, like you've had 200 clients this month and you've had 198 people that have loved what you've done, and you've had one or two people that either A, gave you a bad review, or B, called for a redo, and you're going to focus on those one or two people. Let's put things into perspective and look at the greatness of what's in front of us and look at the support that we have and stop looking at what we don't have. What do we have? And so, yes, we can make a gratitude list. Yes, we could talk about all of that. But I just think that, you know, it's just moving about the cabin, the cabin of life, where we just can just walk around and say, wow, you know, look at the things that we do have, look at the support that we do have, even when somebody quits and it just feels catastrophic and it feels horrible. But who's still here? Who's cheering you on? We have to be able to hold that instead of literally going down a rabbit hole and giving that energy life. We can't give that energy life. And I want us to realize and hold true that we have the choice of the energy that we take with us when we're moving about the cabin. So I said earlier on in this live that let's take an inventory of how are we doing? How are you doing? So are you feeling anxious? Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling cheerful? Are you feeling upset about something? And then based on, and you could be feeling a lot of things, and maybe you jot it down. I don't know. But which one is ruling the mood? Which one is ruling your responses? Just let that sink in for a minute, because you could say, I'm fine. Yeah, I have anxiety, but I'm fine. I'm moving around, I'm doing my thing. But do a check on your responses and maybe ask a loved one, how am I doing? Because some people might not have the courage to tell you how you're doing. I feel very lucky that I have a couple of people in my life that are going to be like, I'm worried about you. I'm worried about how you're responding. And I've had somebody say that to me in the last 2 weeks. I'm worried about how you're responding. You're not usually like this. You're usually a big picture thinker and you're like hanging on to the minutia. What is going on? I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that. Thank you for pointing that out. I'm going to look at that. It doesn't kind of feel good in the moment. I'm like, what are you talking about? But when I think about it, it's like, you're right. I need to just step back and see like what voice, what person in the committee is responding to life, to my business. And which one, what voice, what person do I want responding? So ask yourself that. Ask the people in your life that, right? So I just think we have we get to make those choices. And I think that when we know how we show up every day as a choice, then it gives us power to come into our work, into our life, into our day, into our relationships in a completely different way. Today, I needed to hear that because 10 minutes before I logged on, it was freaking crazy town, USA, up here. So, any thoughts? Go ahead, throw them in the comments. Yeah, you're following a crazy lady. I have a couple of action steps that I'm going to be taking today, and I thought that I would share them with you. Okay, are you ready? 1, seek out the unobvious, the not so obvious greatness this week and talk about it. What's not obvious that you see that it's like, wow, it could be the unobvious support that you have from people. It could be like, I just have not been focusing on that, but look how amazing that is, and talk about it. My friend Win Claybaugh says, and he's been posting about this, when people ask you how you are, what do you say? What's your habit? If you keep saying I'm tired, it's a habit that you say I'm tired. If you say I'm amazing, it becomes a habit. You become amazing. So I'm practicing that. I'm amazing. All right, so step 1, seek out the unobvious greatness this week and talk about it. What we talk about starts becoming our reality. Start talking about it. 2, text or call 3 people today and let them know how grateful you are for them and why. How have they contributed to your life? What if you did that to your employees? You pick 3 people a day until you got through all of your employees. Not only that I'm grateful for you, but why? What are the specific things? Like, how have they contributed to your life? What have they done? Did they bring you a coffee? How did that help you that day? Did they say something? What did you notice about them with a client? I don't know. It could be anybody. It could be your mother. It could be your sister. It could be your friend. I don't know. 3, this one's so important, you guys. Write down 3 things you appreciate about yourself. We don't do that very often, do we? 3 things you appreciate about yourself today. Be gentle with yourself. We can only give what we have. If we have empathy and compassion for ourselves, we can give that. Remember, we don't know other people's stories this time of the year or any time of the year. We can only give what we have. If I have space, if I have empathy and compassion for myself, if I can give that to myself, and I know how to give that to myself, and there's room there, then I can recognize when another person needs that. If I'm not giving that to myself, then I can't give that. And this time of the year, you guys, honestly, like, ask yourself if you're driving on the freeway, and it's like busy and you need to get somewhere and someone's trying to get in front of you, if you can compassionately let them in, or if you're like, they're not getting it, then you're going to know what space you're in. That's your test. Okay. That's going to be your test. So I hope that today gave us a little bit of perspective of looking around and finding some space to find the support that is around you that you may not see in your business, in your home, and it allows you to move into life appreciating the things that I know you have. And I appreciate you for being here, for joining in, for supporting. And if you think that this was helpful for you, then I would love for you to, whether you're on Instagram or Facebook, take this today and share it. Share it on your page and share it in and about. And I'll be back next week. I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but that's going to be the week of Thanksgiving. And you know that shit's ramping up. It's ramping up next week, right? So this week, be gentle with yourself. Hey, Gio, good to see you. If you didn't listen in from the beginning of the hour, have a listen. It's always recorded on Instagram, our Facebook page at Beauty Backbone. I have so much stuff recorded here. So if you need a little jump start to your week, log on. It's great to see you guys. Have an amazing week. Give yourself some space, some empathy, and appreciate all the unnoticed, beautiful moments in your life. All right. I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.